Welcome back to the channel, Baofeng boys. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into the actual programming of the radios today. We will start with clearing out the existing channels and frequencies that we have and replace them with local frequencies. Before we begin, the first thing that we want to do is clear out all of the existing channels that we have. So we will right click on a channel on the memories tab and select all, and then we'll hit delete or right click, delete these memories. We now have a clean slate to work with. We're going to go ahead and save our progress as we go along, and the first frequencies that we will load will be the FRS, GMRS, and MURS channels. The easiest way to do this is to select the number 1 row, go to radio, import from stock configuration, US, FRS, and GMRS channels, and then it lists all of the FRS 1 through 14, the GMRS channels 1 through 8, and we are going to stick them in line 1, so hit OK. And as you can see, it has input all of the frequencies as well as the name of the channels. So when you are looking at the radio in channel mode, instead of it showing the frequency, it will say FRS1, FRS2, and so on. Because FRS channels are simplex mode, they don't have any tones. Only advice that I would give is come to the power setting. We will select all of the FRS rows, right click for properties, select power, low, press OK. Again, as said before in all of the other videos, FRS channels are not FCC certified, so you want to at least run those in a low power. Next channels that we will load will be the MURS channels. So we will start on row 23 by selecting it, go to radio, import from stock configuration, US MURS channels. And as you see, you have MURS 1, 2, and 3, and then you have the blue dot and green dot. It's trying to put these channels on rows 1 through 5, and we don't want that because it's just going to overwrite what we currently have. So we're going to adjust the new location. So we press +10 takes us to 11, +10 again takes us to 21, and then we're going to +22, 23, which is where they will begin, and then we press OK, and you can see it started them at row 23 through 27. The next rows that we will input, the next frequencies and channels that we will input will be the NOAA channels. So we go to radio, import from stock configuration, NOAA weather alerts, and there are 10 of those. We will start those at row 28. So add 10, 20, we'll do 31 and then subtract to get to 28. It's okay. And we now have all of the weather channels added as well. All right, so we have the FRS, GMRS, and MURS and NOAA channels already programmed. So we're going to move on to programming some repeaters. All right, so this radio that I'm programming will be going to a friend who lives in Washington. It's a Christmas gift. I don't want to put in the repeaters for my location because they will be useless to them. They need the repeaters for their area. So what I will do is go to radio, query data source, Repeaterbook, and proximity query. Location is a mono, and the distance we will go with 20 miles. Band, what are the bands that our Baofengs work on? 2 meter and 70 centimeters. So we're going to select 2 meters first. As you can see, a new tab has opened at the top with Repeaterbook, and that shows all of the local repeaters to my friend's location. So I will select 1 through 7 here. I'm going to right click, copy, move back to my Baofeng tab, come to the row that I want to put them, right click, paste. And as you can see, it has put in the frequencies, it has put in the names of those repeaters. These names that you see correspond to the call sign for those repeaters. Shows what kind of tone mode that they're in, as well as the corresponding tones that these repeaters use. All of this is automatic. It shows the shift direction for each repeater, whether it's negative or positive, and it shows the offset. Remember, the frequency that you transmit on should be offset from the frequency that you receive on. Now that I've input all of the 2-meter repeaters, I'm going to do the 70 centimeters for that area also. So I will go to the next line, click radio, query the data source, Repeaterbook, proximity query, same area, same distance, 20 miles out, and we will switch to 70 centimeters. That's okay, and it opens up another tab. Select the tab, and it shows the 70 centimeter repeaters. We're going to select these, right-click, copy, come back to our Baofeng, right-click, paste. So now we have both the 2-meter as well as the 70 centimeter repeaters. Everything, again, is done automatically. Now, because my friend is not a ham radio operator, I do not want them to be able to transmit on these channels as well as the NOAA channels. So I'm going to select all of those channels, as well as the weather channels. I'm going to right-click, select Properties, and as mentioned in a previous video, when you do not want to be able to transmit on a frequency, you will change the Duplex Mode. Change that to off, you cannot transmit. This allows all of the other UHF and VHF channels to still be used because you did not disable them in the settings, but it disabled each channel individually. Before I start looking for other frequencies using radioreference.com, I'm going to make note of one thing that is going to be much more helpful to my friend than just simply copying, pasting the channels in as we got them from the Repeaterbook. One thing in particular is when we were looking at the Repeaterbook entries, notice that they had comments. They're telling you exactly where these areas are, or the areas where these repeaters are. These first two are in Everett, Washington. We have one in Coopville, Port Townsend, Langley, Linwood, and Camano Island. Because my friend lives on Camano Island, I want that to have this channel to have priority. So the W7 pig, that's the one that we are going to put first. So I go back to the Baofeng, find the W7 pig, and we are going to move that or select using the control button, select number 38, right click, exchange memories. By doing that, it swapped them. So now the W7 PIG is in row 38. I want to do the same thing with the other W7 PIG. The reason why I'm moving these again is because both of them are local to Camano Island. So select row 45, hold control, select row 39, right click, exchange memories. Now both of the W7 PIG channels, the 2-meter as well as the 70 centimeter, are the first of the repeaters. One thing that may also be helpful, instead of having these start at row 38, is to move all of these down to where they begin on 40, which is just a round number, makes it easier for you to remember where the repeaters are. In order to do that, we select all of our repeaters, right click, move down, right click, move down, and we're there at 40. I will do that with the weather channels as well. Select all of the weather channels, right click, move down, right click, move down, and now they begin at 30. So when my friend is using their radio, they will be able to start with the FRS, GMRS, and MURS channels beginning at channel 1, and then the weather channels begin at 30, and their local repeaters begin at 40. Now, before I move on to changing the settings so that they are more appropriate for my friend's use, I'm going to go ahead and save the progress made already. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and we are going to put an addition to this name, and we are going to put MW because those are her initials. Save, and so now this file is specifically for her. Moving on, we will go to the settings, which we discussed in a previous video. We will leave the carrier squelch level at 3 because when we set this in the service settings, that will be the optimum service or optimum squelch level. We'll change the battery saver to 1 to 4. We'll put the backlight timeout to 4. We will disable the beep, change the timeout timer to 120 seconds. Change display mode A to name, display mode B to name. Leave the standby LED colors as they are. And because my friend is not a ham operator, we're going to enable the Roger beep. Let's save and move to advanced settings. Box sensitivity off because we don't want to use voice operation. Dual watch will be enabled, which allows both lines A and B to be monitored at the same time. We do not want any dual watch transmission priority. Alarm mode to be sight. We do not want to send the alarm through the radio for now. Voice will be English because she does not speak the Chinese. Scan resume, we will set that to SE. Busy channel lockout disabled. Automatic key lock disabled. Broadcast FM radio enabled. Squelch tail eliminate, we disable this. Squelch tail eliminate for the repeater will be off. Squelch tail eliminator repeater delay, that should be 200 milliseconds. Leave the reset menu enabled and all menus enabled. Let's go ahead and save and move on to other settings. Power on message 1 and the 6 plus power on message 1 and 2 we leave as are. Power on message 1 we will leave at welcome, and that is 7 characters. That's perfect. Power on message we will save as message. The lower limit we are going to change to 130 and the upper limit 178. HF transmission enabled. The UHF lower limit is 400 megahertz. The upper limit is 520 megahertz, and we leave the UHF transmission enabled as well. Work mode settings. VFO, MR mode, channel, none of these matter because it all has to do with what's going to happen when the radio is powered off and then powered back on. So the only thing here that we need to concern ourselves with is the VFO A tuning step A and B. So we're going to change that to 10 on both. Save. Let's go to FM radio preset. I have no idea what radio stations they have there, so I'm going to query that on DuckDuckGo. I'm doing an internet search for Island County, Washington broadcast radio stations, because I know that she lives in Island County, specifically Camano Island. And let's just take a look at the Wikipedia entry. And we have a list of radio stations in Washington. Let's just sort by the city of license and see if we find anything in Camano. However, if you remember when we were programming the repeaters, Everett popped up. So we're going to go ahead and put in the FM station that we have close to Everett. And that is 90.7 FM. So we will go back to Chirp, come back to the radio preset 7. Then we move on to DTMF settings. DTMF settings, if you are programming your radio and these are missing, refill them with what we have here. For code 1 is going to be 20202. Code 2 is 5 1s. Code 3 is 5 2s. Code 4 is 5 3s. Code 5 is 5 4s. Code 6 is 5 5s, and code 7 is 5 6s, code 8, 5 7s, code 9, 5 8s, code 10, 5 9s. Code 11 is 1 2 1 2 1. Code 12 is 3 4 3 4 3. Code 13, 5 6 5 6 5. Code 14, 78787. Code 15, 30303. Your ANI code is 80808 unless you are a ham operator. And if you are, go to my previous video and look at how to convert your ham call sign into an ANI code. Get that ANI code and input that here. The only other thing that we're going to change is the alarm code. We will change that from 119, which is the European standard of 911, to 911, which is the American standard for emergency. We will leave everything else here the way that it is. Let's save and move on to the service settings. Service settings are our squelch levels. So we leave 0 for squelch level 0 at 0. Level 1 should be a 1. Level 2 should be a 4. Level 3, 8. Level 4, 12. Level 5, 16. Level 6, 20. Level 7, 30. Level 8, 50. 9, 65. Do the same for the UFH squelch levels. 1 is 1, 2 is 4, 3 is 8, 4 is 12, 5 is 16, 6 is 20, 7 is 30, is 50, and 9 is 65. We have completed all of the settings, and we have saved our changes. So we are going to go back to the memories, and we're going to check radioreference.com to see if there are any emergency or other security stations that we can input that are unencrypted. They are encrypted. You're not going to be able to hear them. If they are what's called trunked, it's another type of encryption. You're not going to be able to hear it. And if they are outside of the 2 meter or 70 centimeter band, you're not going to be able to tune into them. Let's take a look at radioreference.com. At radioreference.com, we are going to go to databases, frequency database, select the state, Washington, select the county. You just scroll down and find what all we have. And we have island county frequencies, which are 154. They're in the 154 megahertz range. It is within the VHF limit, so we are going to add that. Now, because I am not a premium subscriber to Radio Reference, I'm not going to be able to just download these into a CSV file. I'll have to input these manually for each channel that I want to put in. Since we see Kamano in some things, I'm going to put in the Kamano. I'm going to put in Kamano Fire, and I'm going to put in Sheriff Dispatch and Sheriff Tactical. Those are going to be the only 3 that I put in for her local EMS. I don't see where they have emergency services such as hospitals. In fact, if you go to the top and you look at other agencies, it does not have anything listed. So there's nothing there that she would be able to see anyway. If you look at the bottom, there are trunked radio systems, and that was what I was talking about in regards to encryption. If it's encrypted, you're not going to be able to access it on a Baofeng anyway, so we are not going to worry about any of those. So starting with the county fire tactical operations for Kamano, that is 1542950. We are going to just click, highlight that, right click, copy, switch back over, go to our memories. We're going to put that in the 50 spot, right click, paste, and we are going to put Kamano space fire. It is a tone of 100. Let's go to 51, and we are going to put in the Sheriff Dispatch, which is on the 70 centimeter band. Duplex off. We are going to save, and from here we will move on to programming all of these channels, which are 1 through 52, into the radio. The programming cable plugged into the laptop. We will now go to radio, upload to radio. We know that the port is COM8, which is what we used to download from the radio. The vendor and the model are already selected for us, so we will select OK. And we receive instructions. Make sure that we turn the radio off. Connect the cable to the microphone speaker connector. Make sure that the connector is firmly connected. Turn the radio on. Turn the volume all the way up to 100%. Ensure that the radio is tuned to a channel with no activity, and click OK to upload the image to device. We hit OK, and it is cloning, and as you can see, the green LED is flashing while it is cloning. It should only take about 10 or 15 seconds to complete. As soon as it completes, it will cycle the radio off and then back on. It'll show the welcome message, and it should begin on the presets that we saw in work mode settings. And just to make sure that we have completed this correctly, we're going to install the antenna and turn the radio on. Make sure that you do not turn the radio on without an antenna installed. And we are going to go to one of the weather channels, and we are going to scan.
Scanning begin. Lows in the upper 30s. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 50s.
So we have programmed this correctly. We're able to hit the weather, the NOAA stations, and so that shows that the radio is all set up and everything. If you have any questions about anything that I've done here today, please feel free to add that to the comments below. I'll be more than happy to do another video to answer any kind of questions in a Q&A session. Again, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.